Hi, this is Repeatable by Trustmakers. Today we're looking at another research study dealing with trust in communications. To introduce the study is Efson Welday, who reviewed the paper and prepared the summary.
Hi, today's study is called The Link Between Changing News Use and Trust by Fletcher and et.al. It was published in the Journal of Communication in 2024.
We took note of something in this study that has been found in a number of other research sources we've looked at. Trust in news is lower for social media than the traditional news media. For example, in a paper called Global Trust Deficit Disorder, A Communications Perspective on Trust in the Time of Global Pandemics, Terry Flew from the University of Sydney wrote, "While the shift to social media as a primary source of news has occurred, particularly among younger users, survey findings also consistently find higher levels of mistrust of news sourced from major social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter than of mainstream news media." While reviewing this research, we also received an email from the president of the Canadian Association of Journalists expressing deep concern about the increasing and persistent restrictions governments, public officials, and other political actors are placing on journalists in Canada. He goes on to share some recent examples. This is something that organizations, officials, and their communications advisors should consider. While they may not always see the questions and coverage by the traditional news media as fair and reasonable, social media is not a blanket replacement for the traditional news media. In other words, officials need the news media as much as the news media need officials. And while that relationship is sometimes messy, tense, and uncomfortable, and the outcomes are not always what the officials hope for, those officials can build trust by engaging with the news media and not actively working to restrict their access in the belief that you can just go around them and exclusively use social media instead. Thanks, Efson.
You're welcome.